started a live, and I was trying to do it just about, being a native Californian moving to West Virginia. Not directly, like via a couple other states first. And I just wanted to explain to people the differences between where I'm from and where I live now, and the positives and negatives of both places. But you see, I'm what's called a targeted individual. I was placed on a Department of Homeland Security watch list through the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. It's FISA Section 702. Watch listing guidance was updated in 2012 to target combat veterans, specifically, number one, constitutionalists. Just a lot of veterans. Like, I'm not even a combat veteran. I've got the combat action ribbon, whatever you call it, but it's because I got deployed when 9/11 happened. I got activated when 9/11 happened, but I was never out like the Army. I was a firefighter and I was in public affairs. I'm a small arms expert. Got that too, twice. Um, anyway, uh, so the video I was doing earlier was about what I just talked about, and then a lot of my followers are here, where I haven't been here in a while, are targeted individuals. They've experienced the same things that I have, or similar things. There's all kinds of different programs that people are put through, and these are people that are just struggling to survive, not because they're irresponsible or delusional or schizophrenic or any gaslighting kind of projection shit that narcissists or psychopaths, sociopaths project onto the targeted individuals. They're going through literally a psychological operation. It's like a takedown program, and it's there's a lot of people that are going through this. My best guesstimate is like close to 300,000, probably more, I would guess. So, anyway, I just figured, you know what? If I'm going to be on social media and people are asking me to talk about something that they want to hear about and they want to hear my experience and my opinions on that, then, fuck it, let's go. So, I was just trying to do something different than, what I've been doing since 11/11 of 2017, Veterans Day. Um, so, Jeremiah Smith, you've been with me since 2016. Bro, it, how much crazy shit has happened since then? Like, in your life, in mine, in other targeted individuals, in everybody's lives. Like, people that aren't even targeted. Like, there's just been so much wild shit going on through this thing that we're going through. Um, oh, wait, hold on. You skipped. Okay. Nico Rave says LA. Yo, you're from LA? Like Los Angeles or Louisiana? Jeremiah Smith, there's more now. More like gangstalkers, perps, or more what? Nico Rave says, how do you stop these morons? They're not all morons. Some of the people who do this are very smart, but it's compartmentalized. So like, okay, so when I was in the Air Force, you're told you take an order, you do the order, you trust the intel, you do this and that. And so the people who have become in charge of the intel are experts at running slander campaign and misinformation, disinformation programs and takedown programs and all that kind of stuff. So the people that actually are, yeah, no, I'm just going to have either say naive, and I'm saying people that are in police, sheriff's department, FBI, CIA, like the lower level, like ground level people who are like genuinely good people who are like, I want to fight crime. And then they just like naively believe the intel that they're given to them without doing their like due process, I'm sorry, their due diligence and like diving deep into it and being a true investigator as opposed to a quote fact finder. Because a fact finder is like, okay, well, I got this report and it says this, this, and this, and I'm going to believe that hands down. Like this guy is a blah blah blah, and then they're going to go with that, like regardless of knowing anything about that person's history. Um, Brain fart right now. I just went off on a tangent, and I'm tired of shit. Like I was saying earlier in my other video, I got up at 4 a.m. this morning and went to flea market to go sell things to try to pay my bills. What about Freemasons? Man, it's there's a lot of them. I don't fully know the answer to that. I know my experience with people previously in Freemasonry that I thought were my best friends that stabbed me in the back. And I have some friends now that I'm 100% positive are Freemasons. They don't tell me, or when I allude to it, they won't be like, oh, yes, I belong to the Order of the Eastern Star over at the blah, blah, blah lodge, or the, the Shriners that's directly in front of the Coliseum here. And I don't know. I think there might be some good ones, might be some bad ones, like the dark and the light. Like there's the Freemasons that practice the light, and there's the Freemasons that practice the dark, and it's like order through chaos, or like as above, so below. I don't know. I do know that I went to the. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent here again, but it's relevant, and I'll get back to these comments. But when I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, I was interested in the Freemasons because, like I said, I had friends that had joined the Freemasons, and I knew people who were Freemasons. I was in the military, so duh, relatives. But I never knew anything about it. The guy I named my son after actually became a Freemason. Anyway, I got interested. So when I was in Arizona, I just looked up the local Freemason lodge, and I got the phone number and I just called him. And kids, like, people don't do that anymore. I just called him up and I was like, hey, I'm interested in coming to check this place out. Kind of want to see what's going on and maybe become a member, whatever. So I had to talk to the worshipful master, they call him, the guy that like runs the place. And he was the local homicide detective, is what the other Freemasons there were telling me, which was weird. Because that guy showed up. I took my daughter to this big like a main event. It's like a Dave and Buster's, whatever. It took her and all of her friends and paid for them to go like bowl and do all the games and food, the whole thing. And then as we were leaving, that dude who was the worshipful master at the Acacia Lodge 42 in Avondale, Arizona, was pulling security guard duty at the place where I was having dinner with my family for my daughter's birthday that I just met recently. So I don't know, like, it was really, really creepy. And it didn't seem like I was being protected by that guy, or he was like protecting my family. Maybe they were, and I was just weirded out of the coincidence, whatever. But it seemed like a threat. So that guy's name was Matt O'Halloran. I don't care about like sue me for defamation. We can get some deposition going. We'll get in court. We'll start talking about some stuff. Anyway, that guy's dad, I believe it was like a huge Democrat politician, that was like never Trumper, never like we hate Trump, that kind of guy. So anyway, that guy's son was the worshipful master at the Acacia Lodge 42 in Avondale, Arizona, and then they ran me through a bunch of street theater skits while I was in there. Gaslit me. They when I walked around the corner, they like shot me with a water hose. Um, they had me go up on the roof with the quote chaplain, and hold on, check this out. Hold on. What's up? Man, that's a nice looking pit bull. I'm on a live on YouTube right now. I just want to show people that pit bull right there you're walking by my house with. That's a pretty dog. Thank you. Yeah, you like never seen that guy before. He's a perp. He's a perp ass bitch. Do that and try to mess with my dog. See, my dog right here likes to protect our house, so that's why I had to put this thing up because they always have people walking by here with their dogs. And anyway, that was a good distraction, wasn't it? All right, let's go back to the comments here. I'm at 17% on my battery. I should probably plug this thing in. So, oh, okay. How do you stop these morons? Either flip the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, or Department of Defense watch listing guidance to like communist, socialist, people who are just like sellouts to the government who do anything for money, and prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law, including people in law enforcement who take part in this, and gangsters and thugs and everybody. They got the whole spectrum. What's up, dude? Nope, didn't see me. That's my neighbor. He's the one I was just talking about that redid his house. So it's, it's like the ocean. It's not just like one group of people. They're like these certain individuals that are all these different groups, but they have funding and they have a record. They have a track record. It's secret, but if that gets declassified or there's some kind of disclosure of who these people are, then they have to, have to pay for what they did, violating people's constitutional rights. Athena, you are targeted as well. DNA. So DNA is really important in this whole thing. Once they acquire your DNA, which is why they set me up and arrested me 3 weeks after I did a video about the corrupt Avondale Police Department working with the Department of Homeland Security, probably the cartel also, because, Mayorkas and the cartel were like that. He was like, bring them all in, daddy, destroy the country. So they definitely had cartel people working for him. But when they get your DNA, once they get your DNA, they can track you 24/7, 365. If they get nanotech in your body, they can do the same thing, connect you to the Gwen towers, GWEN, the 5G towers. They can tell your heart rate, your blood pressure, if your blood sugar, if you're excited, if you're bored, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're whatever, and they can use all that information to manipulate you. So getting your DNA is the most important thing to them, and they can get it off of anything. You blow your nose, throw it in the trash, throw it away, they'll grab that. Other DNA that I'm talking about, black light, they get that. If you don't flush that down the toilet or whatever you gotta do, get them to never mind. When I was set up and arrested, they took me in, and that was what they did to me. They said, since this is a felony arrest, which was a complete fucking setup. It was ridiculous. Guy chased me into my house with a gun where my kids were sleeping, chased me through the neighborhood. There was like 9 police cruisers and a helicopter waiting for me on the other side of the neighborhood, which I was a first responder for 5 years. I understand how quick response times are, and it's impossible that they were waiting for me on the other side of the neighborhood in the amount of time that they got there. It's just logistically impossible. So, uh, but yeah, once they get your DNA, you're kind of fucked. Unless there's somebody that is tracking what they're doing with your DNA. And there's actually a there's a new U.S. patent, but it's the way that it's worded is really weird. But it basically says that, so like there's synthetic telepathy, there's remote neural monitoring, or AKA EEG heterodyning synthetic telepathy, are like thoughts that they send into your head once they acquire your DNA or get nanotech into your body, and they can connect with you like a cell phone. There's all U.S. patents for this. So synthetic telepathy, remote neural monitoring, where they can literally read out in real time, and it's AI and quantum computing that is reading it because it reacts immediately. It's not like a person in a cubicle. It's that also, but AI runs most of the stuff. But it's also called EEG heterodyning. There's V2K, voice to skull technology, which is literally like headphones that you can buy. A company in Israel created these headphones. You can put this unit in your house, set it to you, and there'd be like 10 people in the house. You walk around all over your 10,000 square foot house, and only you can hear that music in your head. So if that was available like 4 years ago at Christmas, then I'm pretty sure that technology exists for the government to use to manipulate and drive people crazy that they don't like. And then they're like, oh, this person had psychological issues and they were on our radar and they did this crazy thing, but we didn't know how to stop it. And then, but they created the whole thing. So, and that's what they do with your DNA and a whole lot of stuff. So, Jeremiah Smith, crazy. Jeremiah, you're probably not a TI. Because that's like whenever you're a targeted individual and you're on one of these Department of Homeland Security watch lists and blah, 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 all that stuff. Whenever you explain something, like even with evidence, and you can be as articulate as you can be, proving beyond the shadow of a doubt what you just said is true, and there's nothing that anybody can say about it. That's what their response will be is, crazy. And they'll just look at you like you're crazy. And then, fuck those people. Every single one of them. They're either too stupid to process the information that you're explaining to them, that you are conveying to them, or they know exactly what you're talking about and they're trying to gaslight you. Los Angeles, Nicaragua, Los Angeles, targeted. Okay, Jeremiah Smith says targeted individuals. Yes, targeted individuals. The electronic harassment stopped for you. Okay, that's good. I'm not even going to comment on what situation I'm in with that at the moment, but I have 100% experienced all of it, every single bit of it. Hitting the chest and sitting in my living room in Avondale, Arizona, like something punched me while my kids were home. Slick A says they are naive. Jeremiah Smith says, I guess they figure since he didn't kill himself, they are starving me with no work. Yeah, no, I'm going through that right now, buddy. I'm an expert marketer. I literally owned a farmer's insurance agency in Fresno, California, and I got Farmer's Agent of the Year in 2009. I've got the plaque in here to actually, just so you get, some guy tried to insinuate that I'm a known liar today. And I was like, well, no, like you read some DHS information. It just says some like bullshit like that. Known liar. And then that guy that, whatever. Anyway, let's see. Hey, you like my ceiling? Did some plumbing up here. Anyway, right there, check it out. Look at good old Abe. Guy looks like my great grandpa. But here, can you see this a little better in the light? Mike Barden, Farmer's Career Agent of the Year 2009. Anyway, I'm really good at that shit. And no matter what I do, every single job that I get, not every single job, the large percentages of the job I get are like infiltrated and meant to just like keep me on a treadmill or a Nordic track or a exercise bike. They like to use all these, like, and they do it in weird ways. Like they'll make sure that you get to an estate sale that has a Nordic track, right, where you do all this work and you just stay in one place, or a Schwinn exercise bike and you just stay in one place, or you'll go to a job site and they'll put a treadmill in front of it to be like, you're on a treadmill, I'm gonna keep you on a treadmill, you're gonna work your fucking ass off, and you're never gonna gain any kind of momentum because we control every single thing you do. And that's what they do. They control every aspect. They have like who knows how many people that are handling your quote case that you're having to try to survive through is what's called hyper game theory, where they run you through these series of events, pushing you and pulling you, gaslighting you to where they're trying to disconnect you from reality intentionally to create like, well, and traumatize you to create dissociative identity disorder, multiple personality disorder, induced psychosis, schizophrenia, stuff like that. So it's not natural. It's not like a natural schizophrenia. It's induced because of this long-term repetition of events that they're putting the target through, which has endless funding, which is, it's got to be the CIA, the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, all of these three-letter agencies that pooled their money together through the, like, you know, Department of Homeland Security fusion centers. Hey, you doing all right?
Yeah.
Right on.
We have to get 12 stitches.
I heard. That's cool, but he's walking. He's on his crutches.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Right on. Oh, dude, what else would I do? Y'all my neighbors. Dude just walked by. Is the older brother of a 12-year-old, lives across the street. Was trying to get in his house 4 days ago through the window, and the window broke, and he severely lacerated his leg, the bottom of his leg, right above his foot, and he was just hemorrhaging blood. It was crazy. And of course, he walked up to me for help, which thank God he did. But I don't want to make this a long drawn out story, but anyway. Oh shit, got the long story short, cop happened to drive by, had a tourniquet between the cop and me. We got that kid stopped bleeding, medic showed up, he went to the hospital. I just heard he got 12 stitches. I saw him walk out of the house over here on some crutches, and he's good to go. So anyway, that was nice to hear some verification from that. All right, let me anyway, sorry Jeremiah, I go off on tangents. I'm really tired, and I got PTSD and I'm distracted by stuff. I've had a couple of these tonight because I earned them. I worked 10 hours today. But yeah, I'm having a hard time eating too. It's interesting you used that word. Alternative homesteading. Hi from Kentucky. Hey, what's up, y'all? Kentucky and West Virginia are like brothers. They're similar, very similar. I go to Kentucky all the time to the Hillbilly Flea Market, and it's actually awesome. It's in Ashland, Kentucky. It's a cool little city. They got a cool theater there. It's not overpopulated. It's pretty. There's a river. It's right by Ohio and West Virginia. There's like a 3-corner spot where you can go. Let's see. Alternative homesteading says, do you hear the sirens in the background? I hear the sirens in the background all the time. Actually, today there was a weird thing. It was Like, if we would be at a structure fire, like when I was a firefighter, not that this ever happened to me, because this doesn't happen that often, but when you're in a structure fire and it's like firefighter down, or like everybody get out. Actually, I'm sorry. Everybody get out is honk the horn, turn all the sirens on, and they're like, evacuate. It's the battalion chief telling everybody, get out, we're going to let it burn to the ground. It sounded like that, or like a boat horn, and there was all kinds of sirens going off for, I don't know, half an hour today. So, but yeah, there's always sirens going on. I live on the west side of Charleston, West Virginia. It's not as gangster here as like Oakland, California, or even Avondale, Arizona, anywhere on the west side of Arizona. There's shit that goes on here, for sure. There's a lot of poverty, a lot of homeless, but sirens all the time. Okay, Nika Riv says, I feel like my family has ties to and have attacked your own cousin. I mean, in this thing, they get your family members involved. So you're going to have to look into that, or try to document that. Not try, document that. Jennifer Burns said, oh, hey, Jennifer, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Sorry, I'm taking so long to get to these comments. I'm just kind of just here. She says that she doesn't believe any of them think they are doing good. There are children being attacked, getting traumatic brain injury. Yeah, I saw that video of that kid too, and I know that they attack kids because they attacked my kids. And I don't go too much into detail about that because I'm not trying to anyway. I think it's compartmentalized, and I think that some of the like lower level people think that they are doing a good thing, and they have no clue. I don't know. I could be wrong. There's no way I can know. You can tell when the people mess with you, though. Some of them seem like really apprehensive or hesitant, or they're just like not good at it, and they're like, you could just tell that they don't feel good about it, or they're trying to be nice to you the best they can, but they're still trying to do the thing to fuck you over to get their money. But then there's the people that really, really enjoy it, and then fuck them the most. So I don't know. Huh. It's what brought you there to Los Angeles? Probably if you're a TI. So this is like a deep state thing. California is like the most deep state, maybe close with New York. So it's going to be the absolute worst in California and New York. So I hope you didn't move to Los Angeles to get away from being a targeted individual, unless you're like a complete communist, which I don't think that. No, I shouldn't say I don't think. They target every demographic, everybody to get a good swath of everything for their research, because that's what this is. It's a non-consensual human experimentation program and a takedown program. There's a lot of parts to it. There are multiple objectives that they want to achieve with these programs, taking out the strongest people, the best critical thinkers, the whistleblowers, the people that would do something good to stop the corruption. Jeremiah Smith, believe in Jesus Christ and improve your life to the best of your ability. What makes you think I don't? I was quoting the Bible to people at the flea market today. I don't even call myself a Christian. I'm a follower of Jesus. I read the Bible. There's a lot in there that tells you what's going on, but I also read other religious books to know what's going on with that. And then I also read all kinds of other stuff, and there's a lot of contradictory things. So I just use my intuition and my critical thinking skills to, make the best decision for myself. But yeah, I was quoting Revelations today. Revelations 3:9 actually is it's a good one. Check that one out. Look that up. Unless you already know it, quote it here in the comments. Okay, you've never known a Freemason. They're possibly interconnected with your family. Okay. Do you feel like joining then is... Wait. No, I never joined the Freemasons. I went to their lodge to go check it out. And then as I was going through all the gaslighting and the weird stuff in there, I was getting bad vibe. And it's just, I can tell when people aren't telling me the truth. They're trying to manipulate me. And I was like, if I'm going to swear like an oath to something that, they can kill me over, and I don't know what the hell the thing is, that's crazy. Who the fuck would do that? You like learn the thing later and you're like, oh shit. Well, now I'm stuck forever. Like, you just sold your soul. So, or, I don't know. But no, I am 100% not a Freemason. This is way bigger than Freemasons. This is Truman Show, Rosemary's Baby, but Don. Yeah, 100% right. Like, Freemasons are just like a part of it. Like, they're like one of the compartments in the compartmentalization. So, which it seems to me that basically Freemasonry is Judaism for the Goyim. That's what they call you. If you're not actually a Jew and you're a Freemason, they still call you a Goyim. I hate to break it to you, but it's the same thing. If a Jewish person and a Freemason would like to join me on my YouTube channel, and you could explain all that to me, who wants to do it? What Freemason and what Jew wants to get on here with me, and we can talk about all this stuff? It'd be interesting. That's a good comment right there. Definitely like the Truman Show. 100%. You're in targeted by narcs. Hello, Michael. I'm in New Hampshire. Well, how you doing from New Hampshire? Is that the license plate that says "Live Free or Die"? Because I was just talking about that today. It's a lady from Maine I was talking to. I said, "Don't you guys have the Live Free or Die license plate? Who has that?" She was like, "No, that's not ours." Pretty sure it's New Hampshire. So thanks for reminding me about that conversation I had today. I appreciate that. So Jeremiah Smith says you overcome it by not giving a response to their antics. So I 100% disagree in some aspects. Like, I ignore it sometimes. I mean, I know exactly what they're doing, but if you just keep ignoring it, you're basically allowing them to control you and get you to shut the fuck up like a little bitch. And you don't want to be a little bitch, do you? So just staying quiet and never responding to anyone, like responding to them, calmly, and maybe not even respectfully, but just calmly. Like I tell people all the time, I know exactly what you're doing. You're gaslighting me. I know. I'd name off a bunch of stuff, and they look at me like, how in the hell do you know this? How you're not supposed to know this. You're supposed to be like some crazy, delusional, schizophrenic person, whatever. And I just tell them, go away, leave me alone. And then I'd film it for posterity. And then it's like once they realize that I know exactly what's going on, like these dudes, these quote homeless guys. There's all these homeless people around here, and a lot of them are actually homeless, but then they know that they have an addiction. They know that they're homeless, so they're like, ooh, we can capitalize on these people's misery and we can get them to work for us and tell them to wear all kinds of shirts and shit like that. So that send signals to have them walk in front of the target's house and go stand in their driveway like 5 times in a row as that person is getting home. There's the exact same 3 quote homeless people, like one in a wheelchair, and then like a redhead guy with his girlfriend, and they're just standing directly in front of your driveway when you're trying to pull in at the exact moment that you're coming home, 5 times in a row within like 1 month. So they use those people because they're trapped. They have them captured. You know, they'll give them drugs, they'll give them money. They can go stay in a hotel. They get gift cards. They can eat, but they keep them. They keep them on that same treadmill, that elliptical bike, that Nordic track, whatever. Just like they do the targeted individuals to keep them chained. Speaking of Freemasons, why is Dick Cheney's name Dick Cheney anyway? You know that's not his real name. So, you give a response anytime. You do just the way you have to do it. Can't be like, yeah, no, it can be in anger sometimes. You just can't give them the opportunity to set you up, to arrest you for some arbitrary bullshit that they created. It's the problem reaction solution paradigm. They create the problem. They come up with all these little tactical things they can do that will create a false narrative about you, and then they run through their street theater skit, and then they try to run a slander campaign on you, or set you up and arrest you, and then try to just make you look bad, because if they can't kill your character, they will kill your reputation. Athena says it's the end of this empire, aka world truth. Okay, I was telling a lady today that the apocalypse, because we were talking about Revelations 3:9 says, beware of those who call themselves Jews but are not Jews and are the synagogue of Satan. And we were talking about other parts in Revelations, like the four trumpet, or the four horsemen, the seven trumpets, and all that different stuff. And I was like, I think we're in Revelations right now. Like, again, I'm not like, I went to a Christian school when I was a kid. Crazy shit happened there. I became an atheist, and I was like, all of it's nuts. And I still believe that maybe like a lot of organized religion was created just to keep people separated. But in Revelations, it talks about the apocalypse. And everybody, the Bible's been changed. If you look at a Bible from the 1600s, there's so much different from like a new Bible went to King James, and like the one that the Rothschilds created, which they added all their like stuff into it. So it's not the same Bible as the original Bible, which made sure you didn't know about Israel being created in 1948. And not anyway. I told this lady that I was talking with. I said, do you know what the word apocalypse actually means? It's in Greek. It's the Greek word for the unveiling. And she goes, no. I go, yeah. Like, Google it. Do whatever right now. Google it. YouTube. It means the unveiling. And then, like, you hear about the Great Awakening. And you're like, oh, Great Awakening, the unveiling of the bullshit that's been told to us for like literally thousands of years, and we've been indoctrinated into certain ways of thinking, and we're waking up, and it's in there. It's like a script. So it's either like they scripted this to happen, humans, or this is like God, Jesus, whoever saw this coming and was trying to tell people. I don't know. But it's in there. I thought Trump was going after FISA courts. I thought he was too. So Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court is utilized through the Patriot Act, right? So HR 3245 is to repeal the Patriot Act, and that has actually been introduced. So if you go on to like usgov.com, that bill was introduced by Paula Anna Luna. Is that her name? Is that correct? So she introduced that, and 3 other Republicans. But the interesting thing is that there's 2 Democrats on that, and it's not Cortez, but it's Ilhan Omar, and then the other one. What's Ilhan Omar's wingman? Those 2 that like, but those 2, I almost said Huma Abedin. It's not her. Um, they're the ones that are proposing this thing to stop the Patriot Act. And I was like, I'm number one advocate to stop the Patriot Act because I've been explaining it to people that it was a problem reaction solution paradigm to take away their Fourth Amendment rights to mass surveillance, keep everybody's mass data, uh, mass data centers, and then disseminate it to Department of Homeland Security fusion centers to send out to compartmentalized groups to stalk and harass whistleblowers, targeted individuals, but people that know too much, all that stuff. But and then, like the Palantir thing is a trip because that's like a third party administrator for the government that would have everybody's information just like the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court did. But think about this. I don't even know I should say this. I think it's like Trump's strategy, and I don't want to fuck it up for him. But who am I? There's like what, 52 people watching this. I almost think that 702 has been 207, and they're going to use Palantir because it's a third-party administrator to actually target the federal government, like in the same way that they targeted us. And I'm kind of all for that, and I'm kind of not, because this whole thing is what created all of the mass pewers through literally 24/7, 365 psychological torture, manipulation, physical torture, and just brainwash. I mean, that's what brainwashing of a lot of these targeted individuals that acted out in aggression, and they immediately used that act of aggression because they were trying to fight back to what was fighting against them, and then that was immediately used as a narrative on mainstream news to take away all of your guns. So it might be necessary to keep the Patriot Act enacted. If that's the case, like if I was in charge, that's what I'd do with it. I'd be like, oh, you use this against good people like me and all kinds of other people that were just trying to tell people the truth, and you called us domestic terrorists and combat veterans, like people that like signed up for the military and went to a foreign country because they were told that people with box cutters flew a fucking plane into our towers, and that we needed to go get those guys because they had weapons of mass destruction. Then we realized it wasn't even them, some of them, but it was these guys over there and our guys here. People in our government were part of that. It was, so if it's used to go after all of those people, and if this whole thing, this is a weapon of mass destruction, this whole program. But if it can be used for good, and the programmers program this for good, which they still shouldn't, because it's non-organic existence in people's lives, and it changes people's lives dramatically. But if they can use that to take out all of those people, it goes so much faster because none of those people have all they know is selling out and like making deals with people. They don't know how to survive. They don't know how to struggle. They don't know how to learn to like build shit and dig and do whatever they have to do to survive. They would end it like so much faster than we have. And I say we have, since the Patriot Act was enacted. 193 was it 193 or 139,000? I had the video on TikTok, but they permanently deleted my account. And this is statistics from the United States government. 139,000 veterans have just committed suicide. They just have, because they've been put through this. So imagine people that like had no training, had no like, they're just like little snakes. It would go so much faster, like tenfold. So I don't know. The best thing would just to be get rid of the whole. No, because they would have. I don't know. I really can't think of the best thing for that right now. That's my opinion. What's going on with that? Keep up with the comments here. I'm really tired, you guys. I'm gonna have to go in pretty soon. DNS too. Father's glad. No, that's something to. Yeah, it's. I mean, Like, I would like to do a DNA test so I could know. I mean, my great grandma, definitely looks like she not has been to the cookout, but like ran the cookout. She looks like a black lady. But nobody in my family is like, no, 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 I don't know. And but I showed a bunch of my black friends around here and they're like, that's a black lady. Look at her nose. So I'd like to do that, but I'm not willing to risk. I mean, they already have all my shit. The government does, but then when I put it to a private company and then it goes out and blah blah blah, all that, so it's not worth it. And honestly, I really don't care what ethnicity I am. It doesn't fucking matter. But it does explain my big shoes. Wake you up every time you go into REM sleep. Yeah, that's okay. So Laura Randolph says they can wake you up every time you go into REM sleep. So REM sleep. So every time you go into REM sleep, that's when you get like your, that's when you get your rest. You need to get REMs in order to rest. Rapid eye movements. You have to go into that deep sleep. If you don't get that rest, then you feel like shit the next day. And in order to deteriorate somebody's mental and physical capabilities, that's what they'll do to you. If like they've done studies where they've kept people awake for like 6 days and they literally just died, like their body couldn't handle it. They would hallucinate. They would do all kinds of stuff. So that is 100% one of the things that they've done to me for since 2012. I mean, I don't know if my eyes will ever go back to normal. Like they're so much better now, but it was dark from here under like all the way down. If you look at my old videos, how dark my eyes are. I mean, they still look terrible. I mean, look at me. Jesus, I should look like 20 years younger right now. Even though I still do look, I mean, not right now because I'm tired, but if I take a little effort, I look a lot younger than I am. I just turned 50 in March, but I shouldn't look like this. So that part of that is from sleep deprivation, 100% for sure. Like the quietest night in your neighborhood, nobody's around, and all of a sudden, like fireworks are going off, and like gunshots, and cars revving, and like there's a party that goes till 4 o'clock in the morning, and it makes no sense. There's like no holiday. It's like a Sunday, it's or a Thursday or whatever, and they're playing music specifically to let you know that they're doing that to you intentionally, so it aggravates you on top of not being able to sleep. I'm sure that'll probably happen tonight because I'm talking about it. Every time I talk about something, they're like, oh, he wants to go ahead and say this to the public. Let's go ahead and do that to him somewhere to teach him to not keep talking and just shut the hell up. And I'd rather die, honestly. So, let's see here. COVID tests. Yep, yep, yep. The PCR test. Right up your nose. Bam, nanotech. There you go. They had people lined up at the Cardinals Stadium in Phoenix, like cars jam packed, getting that thing. I actually know a chick here. She's super private. She doesn't like anybody talk. I won't say her name or anything, but I haven't talked to her in a while. She's actually like a nurse, um, a doctor of nursing. Didn't know that was a thing till I met this chick. Anyway, she's a doctor of nursing, but she ran like a clinic, and it had to do with the COVID thing. But I think that they like brainwashed her, or she was just like, I trust these people that this is the best thing, and she was like part of that, like administering those tests and shots and stuff like that. And I don't know if that's part of the reason she got targeted, or if it's because she has information on those people. I don't know. She hasn't told me that. That was kind of something I was wondering about. So I was like, well, I mean, if you knew that this was bad for people and you gave it to thousands of people, then nobody should go through this. But so hope that's not the case. Hope that the first thing I was talking about is this situation. Anyway, that chick is targeted too. All right. We're having beers on my front porch in West Virginia, talking about crazy shit that a lot of people don't understand, but some people wish more people would talk about. Let's see. Oh, Tanya Bauer. Holy shit. How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. You've been here from the beginning, too. You used to send me messages when I was driving to the post office at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I don't have to deal with these people. But they're still there. Good to see you. I didn't realize you were from Australia. Did not know that. That's one of the funny, it's one of the thing, like the narratives they try to run on me, like I was adopted from Australia or something like that, and I was brought here. And I was born in LA. Got like 3 different copies of my birth certificate in there. But anyway, g'day, mate. They just put me back on the watch list for that. Fuck. Alright, Tanya, I was hoping doing well as possible. Empowered UK, what up, Empowered UK? See, this is crazy. It's all over the world. This shows that it's like global, you know. It's global. There's so many people. There's people in every country that are going through this. Oh, Tanya, I'm happy to see you too. I feel like I ran into an old friend from elementary school in the grocery store. Like one I wanted to see. Kat says targeted whole life. Kat is my ex-girlfriend's name. Nazis doing this. Is there satsang? I wouldn't say Nazis. So like if you go back and like if you watch The Fall of Cabal, so like basically the synagogue of Satan, whatever you want to call them, the deep state, they fund every side of everything, and like supposedly Hitler was actually a Rothschild. He had Rothschild lineage. So I don't know if he was like the black sheep of the family and they did this to him, and that's why he was like, you're all fucked. We can't have this happening in this world anymore. Or if he was just part of their controlled opposition and they were like, let's run this whole thing. It's a theory. Watch The Fall of Cabal. I'm not saying I know one way or the other. I wasn't fucking there. I'm just brainstorming, so I'm not like trying to provide facts. I'm just saying here's some information to go check that out. So there was like the Himmler, whatever the hell that guy's name was. It was doing the like trauma-based mind control stuff with Kathy O'Brien. What was the other guy's name that was doing the RFID devices in animals? Anyway, so there was a lot of Nazi research from what we're told. Was it Nazi research or was it from other people that said the Nazis did it? I don't know. But it's a Zersetzung thing. Zersetzung in German means decomposition or erosion, which is what this person is referring to. So like the Stasi police would use these Zersetzung tactics, so they would attack every aspect of your life. They just wouldn't walk up to you and shoot you in the head. They would attack your reputation. They would infiltrate your family and break apart your family. They would attack your finances. They would physically attack you with plausible deniability, like when the guy tackled me in the middle of a convenience store, and then they had all the people around, make sure that all the people around are part of their little thing, and then when the police come to check the video and see the guy clearly tackling me while I'm standing there with my hands on the counter giving the lady my money, and he just plows me into the like chip aisle and I'm bleeding everywhere, and the cops watch that video and they threaten to arrest me. And then the girl at the counter says, well, you shouldn't have said anything to him. And I was like, I told the guy to fucking leave me alone. That's part of the Zersetzung thing. Gaslighting, setups, all that. So, yeah. But see, that was the East Germany. That was the communists, right? And people that wanted to defect over to West Germany, they were like, no. You're not doing that. You're staying here, and we're going to terrorize you until you kill yourself. That's what they did. So, and there is a museum actually in East Germany when the Stasi got overtaken. They just swarmed the whole place, and the Stasi tried to burn all of those records because back then there weren't computers; it was all paper. So they tried to burn that shit, and the targeted individuals in Germany literally swarmed that place, and not just targeted individuals, but people that were like, sympathetic to, or knew what was going on, and they were like, no, no, we're not doing this. They stormed that place and they took all those files, and now there is a museum in Germany. It's not East Germany anymore; it's just one Germany, where you can go in, and if you were actually one of the targets of the Stasi police, you can go in, show your ID and all that stuff, and they will show you your file, and they will show you your family members that sold you out, your wife, your sis, yeah, whoever, anyone, co-workers, um, which some people decided not to see their file because they had made it through that and they had gotten closure somehow, and they were just like, cognitive dissonance. I don't want to know who fucking sold me out. I just want to live in stupid bliss and not know who attacked me and just keep going through life and allow that to happen again. So I definitely would check my file. I would be making my own list of every single person that's in that file. So I hope I get that soon. Nikorev says, have you ever been targeted with microwave technology? I believe so, but um, yeah, ELF, you can tell when they're doing it. Extremely low frequencies that change your moods, microwaves that make you dizzy. So it's, yeah, especially in Arizona. The guy that owned the largest contract for the 5G towers in the United States, actually, he owned all kinds of contracts. He owned the contract for Booz Allen Hamilton, which is who Edward Snowden worked for. And he was married to a lady who was a friend of mine named Midge Mathis. And she is one of the founding members of Targeted Justice, right? Midge has been to my house for lunch. She's brought over printouts of the microwave stuff that's happened to her, burns on her face and all that stuff. Um, that being said, I'm still not 100% sure about targeted justice. They super feel like a CIA op to me. Um, Midge did run me through some street theater when I went. They invited me to a dinner at a place called Gigi's in the Phoenix area, and Gigi was my ex-wife's nickname. And then they said a bunch of weird shit when I was there, and it was like not. So I was like, I'm out. So maybe they thought I was like an infiltrator or something, but they pretty much followed along the standard operating procedures of all the other bullshit that I go through, and it felt exactly the same as all the other stuff. So dipped out of there, and Midge and I didn't talk anymore. You can your family. Microwave. Person targeted his body or shot in his organs. Oh, it was hot in his organs. Okay, so a lot of people will talk about that. So the one, I mean, the one that I specifically remember, I was sitting in my living room in Avondale, Arizona, and it was like the highest point of the targeting. I was sitting on my couch, and there was a woman that was going to come out from Texas to see me. And it was like they didn't want this chick to come see me. They wanted to cause every kind of distraction or fear in me that I could just be like, no, don't come here, or whatever. And it hit me in the chest so hard with whatever it was that it felt like somebody punched me. It like moved me back. And I tried to tell my son, and try to explain that to a kid that like something like invisible just hit me in the chest, like come on. But that happened, and that really sucked. Tabitha Jennings, do any targeted individuals experience police sirens nonstop? Oh, 100%, absolutely. It's called a noise campaign. And they'll do it the second that you leave your house, too. So, like, they use quantum computing, and they can, like, they have LiDAR, and they have all kinds of technology that they know where you're at in your house. They know what you're doing 24/7. It goes past that. They can see what you're doing. They can hear what you're doing. They can do all of it, right? So, and they use well, it's like predictive programming. That's what they say, what we say about the movies where they tell you what's going to happen before it happens. But it's also like predictive programming where quantum computing will figure out the AI thinks 100,000 times faster than we do, maybe a million times faster than we do now. So it's hard for us to conceive how fast that it operates. So it can basically predict what our next decision is going to be because we're humans and we're kind of, we get into patterns. So AI will predict where you are going to most likely go next and what you're going to do, what decisions you're going to make and stuff like that. And they'll use that to make sure that they put people in your path. They'll also do that to sensitize you to on a repetition where like the second you walk out of your front door, there will be a fire engine running code 3 that starts the second your foot hits the like when you walk out your front door. And then like the first time you're like, you might not even notice the first time, but the second time your foot hits the right outside the front door, the siren goes off again. You're like, wait a minute, that happened yesterday. And then the next day you do that and you start like, okay, this is starting to become statistically impossible that a siren would go off every time I step out of my front door. Oh, they're trying to sensitize me to scare me. There's one right there. They're trying to sensitize me to scare me to not want to leave my house and become a recluse and just stay in there and just waste away and be nothing and not go out and start a business, make friends, have a good life. They don't want you to do that. They want you to stay in your house and be afraid. So they'll use that type of psychological intimidation to just keep you stagnant. And that's happened with me so many times in so many different ways. In Arizona, the cartel people that lived next to me, they would do it with their truck. They had a truck with a really loud muffler, which I'm not complaining about because I've had a truck with a really loud muffler and fucking great. But they would use that just so it would make enough noise to let me know the second that my feet, like when I got out of bed, the second that my feet touched the ground, that truck would start. Feet touch the ground. Same thing. Next day, feet touch the ground. Imagine that happening to you. Like, who are these people that have this technology? They know everything that I'm inside. They're like waiting while I'm sleeping to start their fucking engine while my feet hit the ground. But that's one of the things that they do. It's psychological torture and manipulation with plausible deniability. All of that technology is top secret, and it's probably going to stay top. I don't know. Yeah, it's probably going to stay top secret. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. But yeah, they can just completely manipulate your life with all those type of things. And then when you go complain about it, and you don't know better, and you go say, I need to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and they're like, oh, hey, you should take this SSRI, which will make you more susceptible to the mind control because it just blocks your it's a neuro inhibitor. It blocks your neural pathways, and it allows them to manipulate you further. And whoever wants to send this to Big Pharma and say that I said that, please do Do any targeted individuals, sorry, Tabitha Jennings, do any targeted individuals experience, oh yeah, yeah, okay. Yep. And then like right next to you, like they'll stop you at a this hasn't happened a lot here. This is mostly in Arizona, but they'll stop you at every stoplight, and then there's just happens to be a fire engine or an ambulance going by you, and you're like, this is like the seventh stoplight in a row that somebody's been running code 3 in front of me that I got stopped at the stoplight while I'm trying to get the kids to school, and I got these packages to drop off, and I got all this shit to do today. But and then the railroad tracks just went down. So, and if anybody's having a hard time understanding how anybody would do that, everything's on the internet. Your car, your freaking microwave, your stove, your oven, your security cameras. You don't think the railroad track arms that go down are linked to a Wi-Fi, or the stoplights are linked to a Wi-Fi and artificial intelligence? Think about it, people. Everything's connected. It's called the Internet of Things. It's a huge ass grid, and they can let AI run that whole grid to slow you down, stop you, drive you crazy. So that's how that works. It's a little more detailed than that, but I'm sorry you're still going through that, Tanya. Man, I've been doing everything I can to survive here too, and make it through all this nonsense. I don't know. Yeah, I was on here a while ago. I think I told you guys when the chick that lived at my house that tried to run an op on me and steal my house, tried to file a DVP, which is a domestic violence protection order, on me at Friday night at 11 o'clock. So the courts would be closed, just like the FBI does. So I'd have to stay in jail all weekend. She was trying to run an op on me to take my freaking house. They kicked me out of my own house. I had to go sleep in a parking lot for a week, go to court. She never showed up. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that anymore right now. The elusive dog stalker. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, the dog walkers. They're perfect plausible deniability to walk in front of your house and say some dumbass shit that their handler told them to say. Like if I'm inside practicing my karaoke stuff, they'll have these two chicks walk by in front of the house with these dogs, and they'll say, "That's the worst thing I ever heard." And I'm supposed to run out of my house and be like, "Fuck you, bitch," or something like that. And I don't care. It probably is. I don't think I'm good. I'm just having fun. But how weird is that? You know what I mean? It's like they're listening to you in your house, and then they have some people walk by your house to yell. That's the worst thing ever. It's just that's why there needs to be more jobs in the United States. People need to be out working instead of like taking gift cards and GS payments for going out and harassing other American citizens. Which is roundaboutly funded by most other companies and the Democrat Party. And some Republicans. The rhinos. Actually, it's most of them. Really. It's most of them. They just put some big dish on the pole outside your house. Haven't slept since they put it in. Huh. Tony Lynch. I have no idea what that is, man. Yep, Tanya, they are. I track you there's been. So I'm trying to keep up with these comments here. If they track you, there has to be a way to track them. Yes, but there has to be the authority from whoever is in that whole chain of command to allow that. And if that's their main mission, is to like take out targeted individuals, then the last thing they're going to do is like they're going to protect that with their life. So, but there's the new U.S. patent. It's I say new, like 2 years ago, and it's a new patent. Look it up. It's I think I talked about this earlier. to record the transmissions from where the EEG heterodyning or remote neural monitoring is coming from. So as they're pulling your info or pushing info to you remotely, I mean, if you can go in and out remotely, just like somebody airdrops a photo from your phone to your laptop to whatever, or you text message a picture or video to your friend in, you know, wherever the hell they live across the world, there's got to be a way to track both of those. So I'm hoping that that U.S. patent that I found is legit, but the way it's worded is not. I don't know. It almost seems like it's from another country, but it says the U.S. patent is here. Oh, wait, actually, you know what? I need to check that. I don't know where it was made. So maybe that's why the wording was a little off, because it was translated, but it seems kind of odd. So. Heart tear, heart H. Here, tear. I'm trying to pronounce your name. I'm glad to see you made it, bro. I mean, I haven't made it yet. I'm still here. I'm okay. I'm just fucking tired. I'm getting old. This stuff's put a lot of miles on me. Been over this for a long time, and just want our country back, my life back. Empowered UK says, yes, I have experienced all emergency services sirens, sensitization, and harassment they used to sound car horns and sirens at the exact time I was hit with direct internet. Yeah, oh yeah. They will definitely do that, like in sequence, like to let you know, okay, we're doing this one right here and that at the same time. Statistically impossible for that to be a coincidence. So they're like, I mean, think how many people would just like run out into the streets and like think it's their neighbors doing it to them, and then like try to beat the shit out of them. And there's this thing that happens, and they're like, oh look, crazy people, we need more government money to stop this, when they're like actually the ones pushing it. John 14:6. Nice to see you, Michael. Hyper Game Theory. Brian 2. Talk. What happened to Brian? Man, I do not like that guy. That guy is ridiculously smart. He's like an idiot savant, and he's either a good guy that has no kind of like, he has no boundaries, or I don't know what his deal is, but I do not like that guy. He's tried to like tell me what to do, or it's not that he's just trying to give me information. It's that he was just like a weirdo. And I've told him, I'm not like, I mean, I'm saying it here publicly. I've told him, like, when he's messaged me and stuff like that, like, hey, bro, I don't like you. Leave me the fuck alone. You're doing a good job with, like, putting information out and stuff like that, but I do not like you. Leave me alone. Don't want to talk to you. So, he has good information, I think, but it almost seems like he's kind of like like, how the hell does that guy have money to, like, travel around the world? Every time he's doing a video, he's like, I'm in Guam, or I'm in, like, some freaking place in Asia or something like that, and they're doing this to me, they're here, and I don't know. He just seems fake as shit. I hope I'm wrong on that one. I'm rarely not. Stay strong, stay alive. My 2 cents. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do my best to stay strong every single day, and also that other part. And yeah, I appreciate that. Somebody gave me a compliment today when I was at the flea market. We were just talking, and they just gave me a compliment. Actually, they said, damn it, man. I talked to this lady for a while. Both of her kids were in the Air Force. One was an officer, one was enlisted, and we were just talking about their experience and mine. And this lady, we were the ones that were done talking about Revelations. But we got done talking. Her and her husband left. She was like, "We are so glad to have you here in West Virginia. We need more good people, and you guys men know that, we don't ever get compliments. Nobody compliments us. They just expect us to just do everything. So that was good to get one of those. Seemed genuine. Mandate Mandate reporter. Hey, how's it going? Great to see you doing well. Thank you. Thank you. I'm I'm not doing that great. Pretty broke right now. Uh, but I've been here before, and not giving up. Don't forget military contractors. Man, see that's the thing. The compartmentalization that I was talking about. It's like military. They take orders. If I okay when I was 25 years old, when I got my job full time in the fire department in the Air Force, and some FBI agent came to our station, and we had like a big classroom where we'd have all our meetings and all this stuff. And this dude came in a suit and had an FBI badge and had a meeting with us. And they were like, "Hey, you guys, we need you to help us fight terrorism. We need you to help us get the bad guys. And you're just part of it. There's a lot of people that we have doing this, but we need you to be part of this. And here's what you have to do." And it like the small things that they would have us do, unless it was like following somebody into a grocery store. And no, I would have. I don't know if I wouldn't have experienced this. I probably might have been roped into doing that too. Thank God I wasn't. But can you imagine that? You're like, okay, I'm a patriot. I love my country. This guy that I trust is coming in here. He's like the authority. They're the FBI. I've watched all the movies about those guys, and they're awesome. Some of them are. Shout out to John D'Souza. Um, but then they roped those guys into doing it, and then they got a top secret clearance, and they're already in the thing, and then they're trapped too. It's pretty sick. But yes, there's a lot of military contractors that do this, and some of them are good guys that they have no. I shouldn't say they have no clue. They don't know the whole story of what's going on, and some of them are just straight up fucking psychos that know exactly what they're doing, and they want to kill you and see you suffer. Either because they're just a psychopath naturally, and that's in their DNA, or because the Marine Corps broke them, or the Army broke them, or the Air Force doesn't break many people unless they target them. I mean, I'm an Air Force guy. I'm realistic about it. Marine Corps is nuts. I've worked with a bunch of them. I talked to probably 10 of them today. A bunch of them are my friends, but some of them like cracked. Marines will tell you that as well. So they capitalize on those people as well. Um, hmm. Reading comments, just a couple I just don't want to respond to right now. Reading, reading. And you guys in other countries, I don't have any idea what to do. I've never been to Australia. I've never been to like. I've been to Spain. I've been to the United Arab Emirates, and I've been to uh, England, the UK, Britain, whatever the hell they call that crazy ass place over there. I'll never go back there. Fuck that place. They have the shittiest food, the worst people. They all dress the same. Fuck them all. Not all of them, but that place sucks. Um, I had a terrible experience. I mean, I had fun for myself, but like as far as the people that were like approaching me and stuff like that, it was like, so I don't know anything about what's going on in other countries. I don't know how to fix your thing. I don't know how your governments work. I don't know how my government works. I'm a United States veteran. I'm focused on my country and like what happens here, because this seems to be the root of like what's happening in all of your other countries. If we can stop this here, then it will take the funding to stop that in other countries. I mean, the United States is still going to be like on your ass. We don't, as far as like, yeah, I don't, like they're never going to stop surveillance. That'll never happen. But this targeted individual thing where it's like a genocide takedown program, I do think that'll end pretty soon, and I think that starts here. So that's, I don't know what else to say about that. That's, sorry to any of the cool people in Britain or UK or England or whatever you call that place. Just, yeah. Started reading. Holy moly, y'all are. Oh, there's. Oh, I talked too long on one topic, but how do you explain this like in a short period of time? That's why it's so tough. It's almost impossible to do this because people's attention spans have gotten terrible. Mine too, from going through TikTok and watching all these short videos and stuff like that. It just kind of trains your brain to not want to spend as much time and effort on absorbing information. You want it quick. Okay, you guys are having a whole ass conversation here. And 127, I just saw your comment. Said, I don't think anyone can see my comments. Just read that. I'm going backwards here now. It's hard to ignore them. It is really hard to ignore them because when somebody's just constantly bothering you, it's like the kid in the back of the classroom. Like you're in the second to the last seat and that kid just keeps like flicking your ear or like punching you in the back of the head and the teacher can't see it, right? And then you finally get tired of it and you turn around and you knock that dude out. And then you get suspended for hitting that guy because he would not leave you alone. So those are the people that are running this. The people, that kid in the back of the classroom that would just do that to you. I mean, I was the kid that would turn around and knock him out, and I did that a lot in high school and like through up to my 30s. I don't do that anymore. I lost a fight one time. Alex Silva, you are very smart. Read targeted individual. I think, did you mean like regarding targeted individual? I mean, there's way smarter people than me. But at the same time, I did take the last IQ test I took was in 7th grade. I scored a 161. My teacher literally yelled at me for not getting good grades because I scored higher than him. He took the test, the whole class took the test. I scored the highest and he yelled at me. And that was the last test I took. But regardless of how smart I am or am not, there's no way in hell I could explain any of this if I tried to research this on the internet and just tried to figure all this out, what you guys are going through. There's 0% chance. That's why it's so hard to detect, because really the only people that can truly understand what a targeted individual goes through is somebody who has been targeted. It's like, when you're in the military or like a cop or whatever, correctional officer, and before you mace anybody or you tase anybody, they gotta mace you and they gotta tase you so you know what it feels like. Man, I hope that's what this is. Because if they put me in charge of some kind of group and I had some capital, like government money, and I had some people, like good people, oh my God, that's why they fear me. Not just me. There's a bunch of other people like me that would be able to like do a great job with that. and would be very motivated to not ever let this happen to anybody again. There's other ways to do things. Then there's a lot of people dead because of this. So anyway, if you're talking to me, thanks. If not, if you're talking to somebody in the comments, then I just answered a question about me being smart and you weren't even talking to me. I'm smart on most days. Some days I do some dumb shit. Like if my ex-wife called me right now, I'd probably be like, "Oh my God, I miss you so much. Please come home." And I'd do better than that. I think, I don't know. Anyway, Bella's theory has the best question here. Does anyone get this in Mexico? I have never once heard of somebody in Mexico that's like, they're targeting me. Because I mean, they got the cartel. They're like this. They don't do all this. They just like, you take the bullet, you take the money, or you take the bullet. And I heard that from people who lived in my, yeah. So they don't. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Maybe it was them using it on me in Arizona. That could be very highly likely, but it would be them inside the United States using it on their targets, which they target Mexican people, they target black people, they target white people, they target, it doesn't matter what ethnicity they are. They actually wanted to make sure that there was a large enough swath for their beta test. So multiple religions, both genders, every ethnicity in different countries. And that's how they get the most data. I'm going backwards on the comments here, and then I'm going to go back down to the bottom. So, that's how I work too. I don't always do things in order. I hope they understand how much they will pay. Nobody violates my family. True kism. That's right, man. Don't take that shit. Fight back. I mean, don't do it smart. Do it smart. But yeah, but be patient. Patience is a virtue. Where's the little dude? Dog? Dog's over there. Satellite harassment. You're a natural leader. We'd like to see more broadcasts. I haven't seen you in a couple of years. Thank you. I'm, you know, I'm not a natural leader, and here's why I say that. I wasn't put into a lot of leadership roles. Like I have it in me, but I didn't get the opportunity to practice that. Like throughout my childhood, I wasn't put in charge of anything or anyone. It was just always me taking care of myself, trying to navigate through the world and stuff like that. And then I went into the Air Force. Went to Air Force basic training, and because I was one of the older guys, I joined when I was 24. So you get in there, and they're like, "You, come here," like to ask you some questions, stuff like that. You're an element leader. You're in charge of let's see, how much was in our element. Our flight was 100 and something. We had, was it 4 elements, 20 something people in each element. I might be off on the numbers. This was in 1999 when I did this, so it's been a while. But they put me in charge of this group. I remember I was up front, and we were all in formation, and I had to get my guys in line and get them to like calm down, like get in formation. And I malfunctioned, and I didn't know what to say because I didn't have any leadership skills. But I was already a dad, and I completely disrespected my guys because I didn't know how to talk to them, and I was like, "You need to get in line now, for I have to talk to you like my children," or I don't know. It's just the way that I said it. It was like awkward. I didn't know how to command and lead a group with respect. And the second I realized that, I knew how to respect people, but I just didn't. I was not ready for that. I went into my TI, which is weird that they're called a TI. It's a technical instructor in the Air Force. You know, in the Army, it's drill instructor. Marine Corps, it's drill instructor. But I went into his office, knocked on his door. Um, technical instructor, trainee Barden request permission to enter your office, blah blah, all the stuff that we had to do. And I just went in there and I told him, I said, I'm not ready to lead all these guys right now. This is above what I'm just capable, not capable. I can't remember how I said it, but I was like, I don't want to do that. And he was like, man, I haven't had that many people come up to me and just say like, or be honest. They just do it and try to figure it out and fuck it up or whatever. And he was like, who do you think should be the element leader? And I told him, and it was Matsumoto. He did great. He's a good guy. It's Hawaiian. Miss that dude. But then down the road, I ended up becoming staff sergeant. I had to go to Airman Leadership School, do professional military education, PME, Knoxville, Tennessee, and I went through that and I learned how to, I learned through different ways on the insurance agency and all kinds of different stuff. And it just over time, then I kind of did become a decent leader. But again, I haven't had the opportunity to like manage a whole crew, manage a group, and delegate authority to people that I know are good at tasks, which I know I could do if they just gave me the opportunity. But there are definitely some people out there that do not want to see that happen. So, but thanks, appreciate that. Okay, as harassment is run from the three-letter agencies via a private company, they make money for anyone added to the list. Anyone can be put on the list. I'm not aware of anyone getting off the list. I'm not aware of anyone getting off the list either. And I'll try to give you an example of how that works, give people an example of how that works, of how this isn't actually about a terrorist watch list. Or, I mean, of course they put some on there because they got to make it like seem realistic, right? But then they target all the other people that they want to take out, silence, stop, target because of money, whatever the reason is. There's multiple reasons. And okay, so in the military, in the Air Force, at the end of the fiscal year, right? The fiscal year in the military is July, and that means that you have a certain amount of money to spend throughout the year. And if you don't spend all that money, you don't get the same amount of money next year. So you got to spend it all to make sure you get the same amount next year. Otherwise, your budget keeps going down and down and down. And then when you need it, then you don't have it. So think about that. Just in my one shop, I worked 2 different jobs, fire department, then after that, public affairs. But in my one shop in public affairs, I remember my boss coming up to me, senior master sergeant, said, Barden, here's the catalog that we ordered from, it's the B&H catalog. Any multimedia equipment you could ever think of. It's the largest multimedia company in the world, I think. We need to order $45,000 of stuff in before the end of the month to make sure we get this. What kind of business would be able to survive if they operated like that? Like, what kind of, if they were just like, we have to spend all this money. Like, people would do that for tax write-offs and stuff like that, but you don't just spend money on shit that you don't need just to spend money. If you have a real business, you got to save that to pay all of your overhead and all. So anyway, if there's a terrorist watch list that has a fiscal budget and they want to keep growing that budget because it adds employees and it adds bigger numbers to those higher ups government fiscal budget to keep that going. Hire the cousin and the brother and the sister and their whoever and their friend at the gym, the fitness one or whatever, and she keeps growing like cancer. that's why these things keep growing so much, because it's a benefit to people's pocketbook. And they use the cover story of fear and terrorists and all that stuff to keep people in fear and to control you and to keep their fiscal budget going. It's been getting bigger for a long time. Thank God I got to talk to Andy Biggs at the Trump rally, tell him about the FISA court, so he can go down that rabbit hole. Well, he did. He made an 11. Andy Biggs is a state representative, senator in Arizona. I met him at the Trump rally. Actually, I was on the national news on that one. But I told him about the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, how it was weaponized. They used it to attack me and destroy my life and go after me. And he literally was like taking notes and gave my card to his assistant. They researched it, and he made an 11-minute video on when it was still Twitter at that time about the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. Like, my son called me from Minnesota after I talked to Andy Biggs, and he was like, Dad, you're on the news right now. And I was wearing a t-shirt that said D-Class FISA, and on the front it said 13818 is great, and 13818 is the executive order that Trump signed in December of 2017 to seize the assets of all of those involved in human trafficking, government corruption, and that's what all of this is. It's literally human trafficking. We didn't vote to have people come fuck with us every single day to make money on us. We didn't ask for that. We've been forced into that. We don't have a choice. We can't go to a restaurant in peace. We can't drive down the street in peace. We can't live at our house in peace. You can't even stay in. You can't be in your house in peace. And they're making money off of that. That's human trafficking. So that falls under Executive Order 13818. Sure. Hopefully that has been followed through with, or they're still working on that. Bellasteri says, it just takes 2 people to turn your name in and you're on it. Yeah, those people, I believe, have to have top secret clearances. I think. I don't know. I have a pretty good idea who the 2 people are that put me on it. There were people that were afraid that I was going to take their job in public affairs because I was really good at it. Destroyed projects that I worked for months on, that I traveled thousands of miles to do with F-16 pilots and F-22 pilots, like filming them doing dissimilar aircraft, tactical maneuvers, dogfighting, like launching these miniature drones from the sky, and they were like blasting them out of the sky into the ocean, and the Navy would come pick them up, and I would compile this amazing, if I don't say so myself, video that I showed like our guy that was a former Army Ranger that became an F-16 pilot. He was the most badass Air Force dude I ever met, and he saw that and flipped out and was like, dude, I'm showing the base commander this tomorrow, which was his boss. The base command, they made a meeting to come down and watch this video the next day when the shop opened, like before commander's call or headquarters meeting or anything like that. They wanted to come down and see Barden's video. And one of the guys in my shop, he's a tech sergeant. I would bet that guy's a P. Anyway, he had access. He was the administrator for all of our computers. He was the only one that had access to all the computers. I had to put in my CAC card to get access to my computer, common access card. And when I left the night before, that video was fine. I got back to work the next morning. Commander showed up. Base commander, 06, full bird colonel. Colonel Garrison, actually. He was coming down to check that video out, and I would have definitely got a pat on the back, and I would have gone on all kinds of trips with them and done so much more. They came in to watch the video. I went to play it, and it was an ant fight. Like when you had a TV in the 80s, you turned it on to channel 0, and it was just fuzzed. That's what it was. And then that dude, who I'm telling you about, goes, "Oh, that's too bad. It's a corrupted file." and then he just walked away. Like, he's the computer administrator. He could have gone in there and tried to, like, you know, reconstruct the deleted file or whatever. Dude is smart. And that guy did that to me to sabotage me. I don't even know why I started talking about that story. Let's see, his people turn. Oh, because, yeah, he was one of the people I think that did that. And then the crazy thing, that the commander before that guy ended up being the Inspector General of the Air Force. Like, I sat next to this guy at our briefings in the morning. So, might have been him too. I don't know. Might have been Obama, for all I know. Who knows? We need to know what's first. You guys have been... Oh, shit, this has been an hour and 40 minutes. It's 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, I've missed a bunch of your guys' questions. I apologize. I'm doing my best, but you can see I'm kind of in flow state right now, I guess. It's just all coming out. Reading. Wait, what is this? Mike, I guess literally one of the best guys you'd ever meet, was fraudulent when young. I was not fraudulent when I was young. I just wasn't ready to be a good leader. So maybe something with translation. Or do you live in the United States? Or I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm just saying I was. Yeah, that's a interesting way to put that. Um, Treated with hate crime and worst crimes imaginable, committed and lied to every... What? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me, right? Maybe you can try to explain what you're talking about. Possible if you can ask any law enforcement. Okay, so I've done this in a roundabout way. If they have a top secret clearance, which they will give people to be part of this, sign up for it, little yellow card, a bunch of letters on it. Anyway, 0% chance that any cop that knows about this is just going to be like, oh yeah, so we're part of the Department of Homeland Security. We have the Fusion Center information right here. You're a non-investigative subject, non-investigative subject code 4. They're not going to ever tell you that. But I'm friendly with cops if they're friendly with me. I don't have a conversation with them. I have some of my favorite people are cops that work for the FBI and the CIA and the NSA. Look at my YouTube channel. I don't hate them all. I hate the pieces of shit. So I've talked with some of them. They were like friendly conversations, and I just kind of mentioned, oh, you couldn't tell me about that if you knew, and they kind of just like look at me like nod, like a positive yes reinforcement, but I can't say anything. And then some of them there was a chick that was a female police officer that was pulling up right as I was leaving my house. That's one thing they like to do. They like to have a police cruiser going to your house while you're leaving your house. So you're like, oh, well, they're going in my house. And they want you to turn around and go back to your house, waste your freaking time, go around in circles because you're trying to protect all your shit and you don't want people breaking into your house. So that's one thing they do. But I did that one day and I circled around and I pulled right up next to her, surprised the shit out of her, fucking flanked her. Shouldn't let me do that. Bad situational awareness. Anyway, I pulled right up next to her. I was like, hey, what's going on over here? What's going on over here? You guys pulled up right in front of my house right when I left. And she was like, oh, she gave me some kind of bullshit answer. And I go, hey, you know what you should do? You should look it up on your DHS Fusion Center info right there on your computer. And she just looked at me, and the look on her face was like, how in the fuck does that guy right there know that? And she just silent, did not answer. And then I was like, all right, have a nice day. And I took off. Never seen that chick again. So there's ways to get them to admit it, but it's like, it's really subtle. They're not, you know, I mean, only people like Kevin Shipp, Karen Melton Stewart, um, even John DeSouza, like he will talk about being targeted, but he won't go into the details. He'll tell, no, he's talked about V2K. He's probably talked more about it than I have, but he doesn't focus on that because he's like way more multifaceted than just a targeted individual thing. Like, so, wait, okay, why would a covert program make a watch list available for their victims to use as truth serum? Why would a covert program make a watch list available to their victims to use as evidence? That's a good question. Um, I think that they have become so arrogant, and they think that they've worked everything out to where there's plausible deniability and the coverage of the National Security Act, which, you know, when they have doctors implant you, they use the national security letter, they have them sign that, and they have them sign a non-disclosure. So if they say anything, they violated the non-disclosure, and then if they violate the national security letter, then they go to Guantanamo for divulging national security. You see what I'm saying? So they like got them by the balls, but then they offer a bunch of money to uh, to go ahead and sell out. So I think they think maybe, oh well, they're 100% covered. Nobody's ever going to find out. They're going to get rid of all the targets before anybody can say anything, and they'll just keep it under wraps. I don't know. Um, but there's a lot of evidence, like beyond the shadow of a doubt evidence, and there's a bunch of LARPs and, you know, shills that jump in and act like targeted individuals. You guys know that because they're in your comments and they act like they're your friend, and they use directed conversation or neuro-linguistic programming, and they repeat something that you just said that day, right? Oh, here come the two dogs I was just talking about. Um, hey, what's happening? Willis, you stay right there. Those are two big ass pit bulls. You go out there and go mess with them. They're gonna jack you up. Willis is like 30 pounds, and he's a mountain feist, and he's in human or dog years. He's like 91, so he's a good boy though. Yeah, but the dog walkers, isn't it interesting that the dog walkers? And I was just talking about that, and then just came by. It's 9 o'clock. How was your? Could be a coincidence, you know. How's my doggy doing? He's fine. He just survived the two pit bulls. I'm just fine. I'm just kidding. Those seem like good dogs. But if my dog went out there to go say hi, who freaking knows what would happen? We're not finding out. Also, okay, I'm gonna try to catch up with. I had to go back down to the bottom. Willis, people are saying hi to you, buddy. It's kind of dark out here. I don't know if you guys can see him. You want to say hi? Want to say hi? Yeah. Who's that screaming over there? I know, right? He said he's tired of this shit too. Can you guys hear that? Listen, it's just children screaming at the top of their lungs. Can you guys hear that? It's so high pitched. They're just like. What the fuck? Like, thank you for. Who does that? Thank you for doing that. Prove my point. Oh, John 14:6 says Horton married Binney a couple years ago. I hear he spoke to Trump late in 2024. Okay, so what John 14:6 is? I need to look up that Bible verse. It must be important. So I'll check that out. Actually, I'm gonna take a screenshot. Boom. There you go. Thanks for sharing that. Horton is Katherine Horton. She was a particle physicist at CERN in Geneva, Switzerland. And I did a video interview with her right when I started doing my podcast or YouTube channel, whatever the hell. And we had an interesting interview. And she's super smart. And she was the one that literally wore like a tinfoil hat, but apparently that actually works. So did an interview with her, and then Bill Binney, was the technical director of the NSA. They're still going. Can you hear him? He was the technical director of the NSA, so he was like second in charge, and he created a terrorist tracking program called ThinThread. And that program would have worked to track anyone, anywhere, without violating people's constitutional rights, if that makes any sense. Without divulging all their information. It was kind of like I don't know, do some research on Bill Binney's ThinThread thing. So, I almost said Phil Haney, he worked for DHS. Who was the director of the NSA that was former CIA that scrapped Bill Binney's ThinThread program to use the current targeting program that we're in right now? What in the hell was the guy's name? Anyway, yeah, me and both of those people have been on a whole bunch of the same talk shows. And like I said, Horton was on my YouTube channel. I never had the chance to get to talk with Bill Binney. There's a documentary about him that's available on Netflix. I think it's called A Great American. I believe so. But then it explains his whole terrorist tracking software that he designed and how he designed it and how he made it up through the ranks. He's an Army veteran. He's lost both of his legs through this whole thing. He's in a wheelchair. The FBI raided his house while he was in the shower. He's been through all kinds of shit. I really believe that he lost his legs due to the targeting and the poisoning and directed energy weapons. That guy had more credibility than so many people, and he was like on it. So that's the most dangerous person to them. Somebody who can speak, who has credibility. They have experience in the thing that they're talking about. If worked for the government whistleblower is the most dangerous thing to the deep state. And that's why they went after him so bad. It's why they go after me so bad. I used to be a lot better at this. So I still do. I'm reading, sorry. Boxing MMA says Katherine Horton in one of her lives a couple of months back said caring is really sick and can only communicate through Karen through friend or something. I wonder what the heck is going on with her. That's Karen Melton Stewart. Worked for the NSA for 28 years. She wrote me a sworn affidavit that's on record in Maricopa County. She was targeted after filing an IG report. She filed a complaint to the Inspector General of the NSA because her intelligence, she was a linguist. She spoke like 5 or 6 different languages. And, a few fluently, but she's a smart lady. Real smart lady. And she ended up saving thousands of military lives through her intel during the Iraq War. And she was supposed to get a promotion for that, which she should have. I'm a veteran, like, hey, fucking thank you. I appreciate you saving my life. I'd want to go home to my family. So thousands of veterans got to go home to their families because of Karen Melton Stewart. Instead of, this is a story I was told, she wouldn't have gone this far, I don't think, if I'm positive. People don't do this over a job promotion. They'd go do something else. Anyway, this is one of the ways that you used to get targeted. You report things to the inspector general, which I think you guys remember. My former commander of my base became the inspector general of the Air Force. That person carries so much more power than you realize. So instead of her getting that promotion, the guy that guy, or the guy, yeah, maybe, who knows, the chick that, no, I'm just joking, the chick that guy was banging, who all in NSA employees, allegedly, um, got the promotion instead. And so that's, Karen filed that report, and then she got targeted, became a targeted individual, and people started following her to restaurants and all that stuff. And then next thing you know, I found her channel, and I was like, holy shit, this lady is going through the exact same weird ass shit that I'm going through. I'm in a thing. And that's literally how I found out that I was a targeted individual, because of Karen Stewart. And like I said, she wrote me a sworn affidavit when I got set up and arrested and had to go through 18 months of court with an ankle monitor on and a bulletproof vest going to court. She wrote me a sworn affidavit for that case, along with another guy named Gerald Sosby, who worked for the FBI. He was, well, first, he was a Vietnam veteran. He worked for the FBI for 31 years, and he was a whistleblower, and they targeted him. He was a good guy, as far as I know. He wrote me a sworn affidavit. Both of those are in public record, so if anybody wants to look those up to use those in, like, case law, like, they're on record in a court, Maricopa County, it's all public. You can look it up. You can download those documents and keep those for your files, so you have something to study and to have if somebody says, you're crazy, and you'd be like, well, here, check this out. Read this. So that could be helpful. I keep those documents with me. I keep a backpack with all my documents with me, my sworn affidavits, my military records, my all of my certification for the fire department and for public affairs in the United States Air Force, my honorable discharge, all of it. So if some kind of fed or somebody wanted to pull me over, a cop wanted to pull me over and be like, hey, they told us you're crazy, we got to take you to the blah, 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 I would record and I would present all of that evidence in front of them and give them the opportunity to make a judgment on what they were going to do or not. And then it's up to them. And then if they do that after doing their investigation, which they have to do before they make an arrest, they have to do an investigation and check out all of they have to do their due diligence, right? And if they go ahead and arrest you and don't follow up with their investigation properly, they just violated your constitutional rights under U.S. Code 18, Section 241 and 242, deprivation of rights under color of law and conspiracy against rights. No, those are both felonies. And if there's a whole big old group of people doing them, then that's a RICO act, racketeering and influencing. And, even better, possibly treason. You guys look all this stuff up. I'm telling you, I've suffered to learn this stuff. I didn't just decide, it'd be fun to look up U.S. Code 18, Section 241 and 242, deprivation of rights and the color of law, conspiracy against rights. That'd be fun. And that covers a lot of stuff, too. And that's not you don't just use that to, like, be an asshole. If somebody's like, telling you something reasonable. Here come the fireworks. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. It's Saturday night. There's probably some kind of event going on around here. There's actually a pretty awesome place. This is a cool city, minus the potholes and the drug issues and the economy. There's a bunch of cool shit to do here. There's like a amphitheater right down here on the river. I live like literally the river. I could throw a rock and land it in the river from my house. Maybe it'd be a little far, but anyway, it's pretty close. Um, so they have this amphitheater up here, and they have like all kinds of free concerts, and they have like decent people show up, like people you know. So it's pretty cool. But that's probably what they're doing over there, like some weekend event. There's all kinds. They got car shows, and it's kind of fun here. We need more people here that don't suck. Some Christians are now, and houses are cheap. They're real cheap. One of the ones over down here, brand new house that just sold, facing the river with a deck, a big old nice deck, brand new house. You don't have to do anything to it at all. $180,000 riverfront property on the main boulevard here. That if you're gonna get here, hurry up. They're going up quick, like super fast. Tony Power said, "Don't listen to no perps." Oh no, I'm sorry. My charger's in front of this. Don't listen to perps. You know, it's sometimes kind of tough to tell if they're perp right away. Sometimes they drag you in, you know. Show their face in the tidal wave. Take care and then give it. Will, sorry, take care. Good night. Sorry, you're probably already gone here. I'm doing my best, you guys. I know I missed some of these. I apologize. If, like, there's a question you really want to ask me and I missed it way up the comment line, just send it here again. I'm down to the bottom. Sandra Frazier said, "Where did I move to?" Well, which time? I've lived in California, Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma, Maryland, Arizona, and now West Virginia. So I live in Charleston, West Virginia, on the west side of Charleston, West Virginia. See, I don't hide my whereabouts or anything. My last name in big letters is on that sign right there, like right in front of my house, just in case anybody needs to know where I'm at. That's where I'm at. My last name right there in front of my house. So come say hi or come get some. This person says, "Have I never been a perp?" No, I have not. I have never been hired to engage in any kind of organized stalking or harassment or psychological programs ever, and I never would. I would never do that to somebody. Gaslighting is psychopathic, sociopathic, and I mean, it's more than gaslighting. It's all-encompassing, and I would never do that to somebody. It's crazy. It deteriorates and destroys our society to constantly try to manipulate somebody's psychological state and just drag their physical and mental health down to destroy them because you disagree with their political views. Instead of creating ways for people to work together instead of fighting over two-party system, But that's not the point of what they're trying to do. Where did I move? Everybody wants to know where I moved. You want my address? I really don't care. Just don't show up at my house. Like, I don't care if you're a TI. I don't care if you're do not come to my house unannounced. Ever. Don't do that. You may have good intentions. You may just don't do that. Oh, Same Man says the assumption is that you will live in a rule of law country when the targeting 100% proves otherwise. I'm not sure. Are you saying that we'll live in a police state until there's some kind of disclosure? Because living under the rule of law like, laws are necessary. There's some laws that are necessary. I mean, unless you want to go full anarchy and it's every man against himself, then it's just like back to Call of the Wild. There has to be some laws, but law is different than legal. Lawful and legal are completely different. Do a deep dive on that. Uh, so I'm not sure what you're saying there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's see. Will says lying. The individual or the banks or both. Who is lying? Will says who is lying to me? The individual or the banks or both. I'm reading these backwards, so I mean, yeah, the banks shouldn't lie to you. Tony Lynch says the power is just about to go out in the United States. You know, they've been telling us that since World War II. But, you know, might need 10 days of darkness to handle some business. I don't know. You never know. I got a generator. Darlene Frost. Hey, Darlene, how you doing? Sorry it took me so long to Frost. Are you related to Jason Frost, my old friend in Fresno, California? It's nice to see you on here. Hopefully things will turn around and the creeps with who targeted individuals will dealt with soon. Yep. Now here's the thing. The people that genuinely thought they were doing something good and were like doing very minimal things, like they just drive their car, like, you know, the people that they'll drive their car and they have like a license plate that says, they use fake license plates all the time, paper license plates, personalized license plates to convey a message to you or to sensitize you. They do that all the time. Different color cars in sequence, like the FBI floating box, when they would follow you without you knowing it. This is them following you with certain color cars to show you, hey, we're freaking following you and we're messing with you. Today's all red cars, today's lime green cars, today is all white cars, and it's statistically impossible that many of them would be around you for the entire day. So that's definitely a thing. Wait. So those people, I mean, like, there's like people's grandmas out there driving around doing shit, and they're like, I'm helping the police get the bad guys, and they're really like reminding some targeted individual, like when their, you know, dad's brains got blown out, or when their son's mother died the morning of their birthday. You know, those are just examples that happened to me, and they do that to me. So, and all kinds of other stuff. I want to answer some more of these questions, but I'm gonna take a bio break. So you guys, oh, here. Actually, Willis, hold this down for me, buddy. Talk to these people while I'm going pee. It's all you. You got, all right? You got stage. It's all you.
Good job, Willie. What you guys talk about while I was gone? So, did you tell them about the time that they shot you from either the top of the police department in Avondale, or like that, or from that back fence, or the time that all the car wrecks you've been in? How many times you've bounced off the inside of the truck and we've had to replace our truck? You tell them about that? Or are you just chilling? Alright, well, I'm gonna have to shut this thing down here pretty soon. Go in. I gotta work tomorrow. Move that. Willis, oh, Nico Riff says, poor dog. Oh, yeah, no, dude, this guy deserves literally a medal or I'm sorry, a Purple Heart, Medal of Honor, too. This guy has been through so much shit. He has been through so many things. He has almost seen me get in fights with people like 1,000 times that I've had to like navigate my way out of there, like yelling and screaming and shit. These people are trying to get me to like get in fights, gunshots, fireworks, fucking bow and arrows like shot into the side of my next door neighbor's house with the dog was in the backyard. Literally, I have pictures of that and I documented it. Oh God, just so much shit. He's been attacked by pit bulls twice, and both of them got sicked on him. One was at the dog park, and then both times I fought those dogs off. The first time I stuck my finger in that dog's eye. It grabbed Willis by his chest and it was shaking him like the death shake. And I just jumped right on top of both of them. I stuck my finger in that dog's eye. It bit a hole through my hand. And then it sat down and looked at me like, oh, you're in charge now. You about poked my eye out. And I was like, yeah, if you wouldn't let go, you would have been a pirate, bitch. And the second one was right down the street. My neighbor's dog. He moved now. Their dog attacked my dog. Only I grabbed it underneath its lips. And I was going to tear its fucking lips off if it didn't let go of my dog. So it let go and did the same thing. I just got kind of scratched up on that one. YouTube didn't mute me. I got a phone call, so it muted it because of the phone call. So but anyway, I mean, these stories that I'm telling you guys, this documentation of what I've been through, this is like just the tip of the iceberg. It goes on and on and on and on. I get tired of talking about it. That's why I didn't want to talk about it earlier. I just wanted to talk about, hey, I'm a California guy that moved to West Virginia. What's the difference between the two states? Let's talk about that. And everybody's like, do they hit you with directed energy weapons? I'm like, fuck. All right, we'll talk about this. We'll do this. All right, you guys. Some of you guys need to talk about this. Psychologists, we're psychiatrists. $150 to $600 an hour. Who has money to pay for that? And they'll both throw you under the bus, try to call you crazy, and put you in some kind of institution. So when there's somebody that you can talk to about the kind of things that you're going through, that you can relate with, and is conveying that information with some kind of sanity, it's good for your mental state. I've had people help me with that, so here I am. I'm gonna do my best to answer these questions and explain all this stuff the best I can. And yeah. If I read this, okay, 1 second. I've been trying to reach you about this. If you read this, okay. Huh. Nico, I'm looking at your account right now. Nico, your name is interesting because, well, I'm not going to say why. Okay, it won't let me view your channel. But, okay. if you've been trying to reach out to me, I really don't answer many messages. Pretty much, I, d- like, it's gonna take a long time to earn my trust, and it's nothing personal against you. It's just that I've been through this so many times that when I try to reach out and help somebody or make a contact with somebody that, like I have interest in, being a friend, girlfriend, what work associate, whatever, it ends up being some kind of shill, and they will do their best to infiltrate my life to just throw a wrench in it. And that's like with my ex-girlfriend that came here. It's exactly what happened. And it's just happened over and over and over and over and over. So all the people that seem to not that every single one of you are going to try to do that to me, but it's like the people that let get through end up doing that. And so cool thing is I figured out the op that she was part of, and I'm not doing anything about it. Somebody is. Crazy thing is, some of those people I think worked for law enforcement, and that's bad news that you did that. So, sucks. Sucks. I'm reading your comments here, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, Nico's saying, just wondering what the signs are between coincidence and you personally being stalked, trying to just assume. So far, it's not the case. Okay, so if you're wondering, um, I mean, like, if it just started, but if you're wondering, like, you will know 100% for sure if they're doing this to you, because unless you are in the covert part of the stalking. So like once you become a targeted individual, before you know that you're targeted, you're going to be targeted years before, so they can get every piece of information about you. I mean, they've been collecting data on us since probably we were born. But they're going to get all that info on you, and then they go overt, and that's when they want you to know that you're being stalked. They're trying to antagonize you, trying to gaslight you, do all that stuff. There's 0% chance that you don't know that you're being targeted. You're trying to figure out like what's going on. You know that this is not an organic event. It's statistically impossible for all of these things to be happening at the same time. They let you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you're being targeted. So there will be no doubt in your mind at all that a whole bunch of messed up shit is going on. And you'll know. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so sorry, I'm reading comments and just saying, yep. All right, so Nico says, yeah, like my cousin for sure is just a scary thought being aware of this shit. I've paid more attention to details. So that's what got my attention. I've paid more attention to details. So like when you go through, like say you get deployed, you go into combat, you have to go fight for your life. You get put through this kind of thing, you got to constantly scrape and fight and pay attention to a million different things at once to make sure that you survive. It's going to heighten it's like when you go through basic training in the military, you go through all kinds of stress and it makes you sharper. So if you can survive this without killing yourself, like hundreds of thousands of people have done, 139,000 veterans, let's just narrow it down to 100, just so I'm not over exaggerating. 100,000 veterans have committed suicide because of this. Anyway, um, like Kathy O'Brien said, Kathy O'Brien was one of the original MK Ultra victims who was rescued by Mark Phillips, a CIA agent who kind of went high up in the CIA and learned about all of the child trafficking and all the sacrifice and ritual abuse and all that stuff. And he knew that Kathy O'Brien was on her way to being sacrificed. He literally rescued her and her daughter, pulled them out of that, and helped deprogram them from that whole situation. I got people standing out here and laughing right now. They must be having a funny conversation. But anyway, what Kathy O'Brien says is that when somebody's put through the MK Ultra program and the long-term trauma-based mind control, it raises your visual acuity by 44 times. And so it also, it's how they create super soldiers, people that can walk into a room and basically scan the room and know, say there's 30 people in the room, they know what shirt each person is wearing, what hat they're wearing, their everything, their demeanor. They can basically, like AI, almost size up the room and see who is a threat and who isn't, and pick out details that are important or not. And that happens through trauma, unfortunately. But the people that become super soldiers didn't it's not like you go to the Air Force and when you're in basic training, they go, who would like to be a super soldier? And go through this trauma thing where they destroy your whole life and hurt your family and, you, your reputation, and try to put you in jail and all that shit. And nobody'd be like, that sounds cool. I want to do that. They do ask you if you want to join special forces in basic training, though. But they spring it on you. They don't give you any time to think about it. The dude walks in and, who wants to be in special forces? And I was like, wait a minute, what? And then they pulled one dude out of our flight. He went to go do it. And then he ended up back. He went to do the training and came back. Can't remember that guy's name. He was a Mexican dude. Mexican American. Anyway. Yeah, I used to take photos of license plates all the time to document and stuff, and because anything that the one thing about being on one of these watch lists is every single thing that you do becomes part of a file and a record, becomes part of the NSA database, either Fort Meade, Maryland, or Salt Lake City, Utah. Right, so everything you do goes to those places. So even if they're covering you up now, then you have screenshots of a zillion things and pictures of license plates that prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that it'd be statistically impossible that those would line up with the phone records that you just got. And your conversation right before that was about, hey, I'm going to go, Dad, will you take me over to my friend Rainy's house? She's having a get-together there, doing a cookout over there. Will you drop me off at her house? And then you leave your house, and a person almost sideswipes you in the roundabout, and their license plate says Rainy. And then that shit happens every day for, 15 years. So if you do document all that stuff, and you can show those consistencies, show the metadata of the people, when they get caught, of their photos that they send, and because they take pictures of targeted individuals constantly. So when they do that, they have to send that into whoever their handler is, and when those photos are sent, there's what's called metadata in that photo. It's basically behind the scenes information of the geolocation of the photo, the how many megapixels, how big the photo is, if you have it entered into your no, actually it will say which phone or which camera took the photo, and then you can go in and actually enter extra information into the metadata, which is what we would do when we would ascension photos to DIMOC. What ascension photos means, you basically put a description of what's going on with the photo, and then you upload it to the Mass Data Center, the Fort Meade, Maryland, DIMOC, Defense Information Management Operation Center, I believe. And all that metadata that I just entered in the back of the photo can be accessed by anyone. And again, if you have GPS on that camera, which every phone does, it's on there. So all that information, all those pictures that people be taking in video, and it gets uploaded and all that stuff, there's metadata in every single one of those images and videos. So, I mean, they got texts of FBI agents, having conversations about certain presidents they didn't want elected, and those came out recently, and that's proved beyond the shadow of a doubt. So if those people, that's Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, their text messages came out and became public, then imagine the lower level people that aren't shit to these upper level people that won't care about them, and then they'll just get thrown under the bus because that's how those people operate. Damn, y'all, I feel like like when you turn the water hose on in the front yard and you bend it so the water can't come out and it builds up all that pressure, and you let it go, and it's just like shoot across the street. I feel like that's what I just did. So, but I don't have any pressure in me anymore. I'm pretty damn tired. Oh, dude told you you work for the CIA. Usually somebody that tells you they work for the CIA, unless they can show you their badge, they do not work for the CIA. Everybody that works for the CIA that you would imagine that works for this, they don't look like what you think they do. They're like librarians and people's aunt that smokes too much, and like, I don't know, just like random ass people that just fit right into society. You would never suspect that they work for the CIA, except for the people that are the upper echelon of the CIA that need to be, that fill that stereotype of what they look like. They all got suits and they're like, that's not what they look like. Definitely. I need to go to bed, y'all. Yeah, live in a dark world, live in a light world. Write that in. Yeah, dark to light, buddy. Sorry, I'll read this comment better than I just mumbled it. I don't, it says, so John 14:6 says, I don't do none of it. They live in a dark world. I live in a light world, directed and protected by, why'd my phone just glitch out? By my Creator. My main weapon is loving and forgiving my tormentors as Jesus taught us. Jesus didn't forgive everybody. He went into the banks and he beat people's asses and flipped over all their tables and shut down their corrupt banking system. So he was actually a badass. And he did forgive eventually, but he was not just like a calm guy all the time wearing sandals and like, oh, peace be to thou. He was in there like jacking people up, literally flipping their tables and whipping people because they were corrupt bankers and were using usury to enslave the people. Literally. So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, mostly peaceful. Jesus was a mostly peaceful Christian. Or they said Jesus was a Jew. I don't know. There's always a fight about that shit. They probably wrote that in the book. Who knows? But People recently are saying Jesus was a Palestinian, which almost makes sense. I'm not saying one way or the other. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we need to fight over it. Oh my God, you guys comment. Let's see, there's 33 people here. Where have I seen that number before? Oh, Boxing MMA said, why did that dude think you had his couch? Did you even interact with his tenant? That sounds like you're trying to get me to, like, incriminate myself. I'm not going to answer any questions about that, but I did not do anything illegal at all. I did someone a favor and helped them haul their car to their house and haul a whole bunch of their stuff after they got a 48-hour eviction after this is the story I was told. After the landlord told them, oh no, if you're a couple days late, it's cool. I get it. You know, time's tough right now. And then, like, a minute after she was late, gave her a 48-hour eviction notice to either get somebody in there to pay more rent or because, I don't know, because she wouldn't fuck them or who knows? I don't know. Just spitballing. People do weird shit. I don't know. Long story short, I didn't steal anything at all. And it would be fine if somebody wanted to go ahead and, like, try to press charges or something like that. No problem at all. Oh my God. Yep. Not first rodeo. Meanwhile, there's, yeah, I'm not doing anything wrong at all. There's people trafficking children, selling crack, like, literally in this name, and fentanyl and shit like that. And, yeah, they want to read about a couch that I acquired legally. That's the kind of shit. That's transference. Hey, let's go after this guy over some nonsense shit that he didn't do to cover up our corruption. Wait, he's saying get over. Oh, Lars said get over the couch, dude. Is that the? Oh, is that my? Is that the guy that owns the house over here? Is that you, dude? I don't even know your name. I don't care what your name is. I appreciate that you're a veteran. You served in the military. That's great. But the way you came at me, you're a complete fucking psychopath, sociopath that was trying to psychologically manipulate me into reacting to get into a fight with me and try to set me up to get me arrested. So, fuck you if that's you. Don't ever come on my property again or even call me, speak to me. I will trespass you faster than shit off my property, and I will file charges against you for stalking, which is 2261A, U.S. Code 2261A, and then depriving me of my constitutional rights, U.S. Code 18, Section 241, 242, deprivation of rights under color of law, and conspiracy against rights. I like to practice that one, you know, as I've said it like 3 times. So I do. I just say shit over and over and over, get better at it. And then when they try to mess with you, you let them know that you know how to respond to their bullshit and that you're willing to do it. And I literally have motions, like, for the court, for these things I'm talking about. Nico, peace out, bro. I have motions ready. I learned how to file motions after I paid $35,000 for an attorney in Arizona that tried to railroad me and would not submit exculpatory evidence, which was video of a guy pulling a gun on me and chasing me into my house. The attorney was like, no, we can't put that in there. And I'm like, that's fucking, that frees me right there. That makes him the criminal and me the victim. And he's like, no. So I ended up firing that guy and got a public defender, fired that guy, got another public defender, fired that guy. And I was about to go pro se because I was just learning the law. And I was filing my own motions. And they were like, you can't do this. And I was like, I just did. The motion is filed. and I did it the right way. I followed all of the procedures, and I will continue to do that. I got good at it. And it's a little bit different system here than there, but pretty much the same thing. Get the stamp, file it with the clerk, know the law, charge the person civilly and criminally, or file whatever evidence you want into the clerk, and that puts it on record permanently. I got all that shit ready. So if anybody violates my constitutional rights ever again, like I don't hope they do. But like they say, I wish a motherfucker would. Um, like I'm ready to roll. It just take time and effort, and like I will not hold back at all, and I will go as far as I possibly can, as for as much money as I can, from the person, from the city, from the state, everyone, to make them know that they will never do that again. So you guys can do that too. All y'all do all that stuff. Everything that I just rattled off from memory, without you could tell that what I'm talking about. I didn't look any of this up. Everything that I've just talked about, I've learned because I researched all that, and I got put in the position that I had to learn all this stuff to protect my life, my livelihood, which is still, I mean, it's all right compared to some people. I got some beans in the pantry I can eat for dinner tonight, so that's good. Yeah, put $10 gas in my truck today. Positive. Louis, you're going to bed. I need to go to bed too. I just can't seem to shut the hell up right now because I'm reading these questions and stuff, and is like flowing out of me right now. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think you got my question about my dad, Cliff, running into you at the hillbilly flea market. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, hold on. Dude, okay, I'm gonna follow you. I met this guy's dad. Holy shit, man. Your dad gave you my information, and you're watching me on YouTube right now. This is epic. Your dad is a smart guy, and he loves you. And I don't know if he's apologized to you in person, but we had a long conversation. We talked for like, it might have been a couple hours. I don't know. We talked for a long time, and when I started talking to him, I was like, this guy is intelligent. And it turned out he was an attorney, right? He was a prosecuting attorney for like 30-something years. But anyway, we had this long ass conversation, and he didn't say anything about you. Like almost the whole time we were talking, it was like he was evaluating all of the information that I was saying, and like coming to the most plausible possibility if I'm like batshit crazy, or if I actually am making some kind of sense. And I could see the wheels turning in his head as I was talking to him. And at the end of our conversation, he goes, for the longest time, I thought my son was just like trying to get attention or crazy, or I didn't know what the hell was going on. It just didn't make any sense. So I don't know if he's apologized to you, but he wouldn't have given you my YouTube channel if he didn't value what I had said to him. That's amazing. At the hillbilly flea market in Ashland, Kentucky. Maybe that's why I lost my job in the military and all that. So I'd have to go out and go to all these flea markets and talk to everyday people that are struggling and might have ended up there for a similar reason that I had ended up in certain situations. And then I could talk to them and help educate them. And then they become the ripple effect that actually ends this, because they don't, I don't know, who knows. That's awesome, man. Yeah, he was a prosecutor. Okay. Wait, hold on. That's wild. He was a prosecutor. You've had weird things happening to me for a while. You know, man, if he could have prosecuted somebody that had a connection to this this program, he could have been in the way of somebody's promotion, or somebody was just it could be anything. It could be like the most ridiculous thing. There could be so many plausible possibilities of how that happened, but it happens a lot. Law firms, I mean, you know, maritime law, and that's deep state maritime law, pretty much. A lot of people in real estate. There's a lot of people in government, military, end up. So I'm just super happy that your dad shared that with you. And if you're on X, find me on X, send me a message. I'd like to talk to your dad again. Like, he's welcome. He can come over here and sit on my front porch with me. I'll go back out to Kentucky and go hang out with him, like, just to go hang out with him. I won't, and talk with him. I won't go out there to work or anything. I'll take that day for this. That's amazing. Let's see. Jeanette Sanders. Yes, it's been a while since I've been here. You missed a pretty decent talk, in my humble opinion. Some good questions, and I was on it tonight, thankfully. Somehow I'm exhausted. I don't even know how my brain is still working right now. Oh, boxing say you just don't know how they can refuse your military benefits. That is the reason they give you refusing. I haven't been refused military benefits. I haven't followed through with the VA thing, because the VA was weaponized against veterans, and it's part of the governmental system, and you're on the list just like everywhere else. I mean, if you go into fucking Walmart and you get targeted, do you think if you go into the VA that they're not going to do the same thing too? I mean, I'm not trying to be a smart ass, or, you know, to you or anything, but I went to a couple offices here, and the first one I went to, I could tell when the guys pulled up my information on the computer, like, they were good guys. A couple former, like, army troops, one maybe ranger. They did some stuff, but anyway, they were cool dudes. We had a good conversation, but when they pulled up my info, I could tell that the demeanor changed. Like, oh, this is one of those. We can't really, I don't know. So they kind of started giving me some roundabout advice to go do stuff, and I could tell, like. And then I went to the clinic, and when I got over to the clinic to go get evaluated, it was pure shit show, street theater, direct conversation, neuro-linguistic programming. Yeah, the parking lot was insane, and I was like, nah, these guys want me to trust them with my medical health, and then trust them to psychologically evaluate me, and then just put my life in their hands after. No. So if Pete Hegseth does something to revamp the VA and knock that shit off so people can just go in and get regular treatment and not have to go through 46 years of fighting the VA to get their benefits. I talked to a Marine today he fought for 46 years against the VA. He finally got an attorney like a year ago. He got retroactively paid all the way back for 46 years. He told me the amounts. I'm not going to share it with you guys, but it was, I'd be done working. I'd use that as what he got, what he's getting. There's more coming, because there's like increments. That would be capital to invest and or buy a pontoon boat. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, the pontoon boat would be like change what this guy got. So, but yeah, I don't want to go through all that, and I'd like to see it revamped before I go trust them with my. You guys, I'm sorry. I've been on here for more than 2 hours now. I think I got as much out as I can for tonight. I'm gonna check out from YouTube, not from life. I always have to reiterate. Whatever. So if you guys have any, if you got any last questions, if you got any, let's see, ever been Freemason involved? True Key says that. Yeah. Yep. Whole fucking bunch of them. But at the same time, again, like I explained earlier, I don't know if they're all bad. It's compartmentalized. Some of them think that they're doing something good and they don't really understand. But I think most of them do. That's what they study. I don't know. Maybe there's some good ones. I have no. I don't know. Don't know. Will said, nice to hear you, Michael. Take care. You guys take care too. If you're still going through this, don't kill yourself today. Do it tomorrow. I'm just kidding. I joke about that because my buddy Mike Baldwin has a joke about it. He's a stand-up comedian, and he's like, I look at working out like I look at suicide. I'll do it tomorrow, and then it never happens. So I'm telling you not to ever do that. You go work out, but don't do that. And then just keep pushing forward every day. If you have negative money in your bank account, I do right now. I literally have negative money in my bank account. Just do whatever you can legally. Just keep going. Ask for help when you need it. Create a social network. They're going to try to stop it. Create your social network. Create a following. You're going to have to restart each one. You just keep going. I don't know. Hopefully all this bullshit will be done with soon. People that were all involved with it will have their assets seized and turned over to their victims, and then they can learn how to start over again, and it'll help build some character for them. It'll be good for them. On that note, good night, y'all. How do I shut this thing off?